Okay. I'm gonna send this off to get heat treated tomorrow. So I'm gonna talk about it a little bit today. Um, well, first of all, I'll talk about just my experience with Rex 121, which is what this is made out of. And this is the first knife I've done in that material. Uh, it's actually there wasn't too many things that were surprising with this material with Rex 121. I've used CPM 3B. I've worked with that before, and that thing's a pain to work with. And this is just more, basically, a little bit more. So everything like in terms of like wearing out belts, and in terms of like wearing out sandpaper, just being a pain all around. So that's not like surprise. That wasn't surprising at all. Some things that were surprising was like one thing was drilling these holes. I had to go out and buy tungsten carbide to drill these holes because my regular bit, which is it's like those gold Milwaukee bits. That's what I use. All it did was just make a divot, and then it just burned out. So that was surprising. And then the other thing was I use an angle grinder to cut pieces off when I'm cutting out the silhouette. And while I was doing that, there's some parts where I cut at different angles and I just snap off the piece with pliers. I did that a couple times and it just snapped off like super easy. Like, I mean, there was some force involved, but then it just snapped off like without warning. It just like pop. And all I don't know why I'm like trying to paint a picture here, but I have a video of it. I'll just put it in the end, and I'll just let you decide. You will see discoloration, like changes in color on the steel itself from the heat, from the angle grinder. But um, that's I've the other pieces I've snapped off in the past with different steels. It's the same. It's under the same circumstance. So I am comparing apples to apples. Uh, Besides that, nothing was too out of the ordinary or too weird. There is one problem that I might have in the future, which is I like to hand grind the knives when I get them back from heat treatment, just to avoid adding any heat to the edge, or changing the heat treatment on the edge. And some of the problems that you can have from that is you can burn out the tip, or you can burn the edge, or you can fatigue the edge. And this is kind of off topic, but when you have a fatigued edge, I don't know if you've ever had a knife. So if you have a knife that it's supposed to work a certain way, the edge is supposed to work a certain way, and if it feels too fragile, or if it's getting dull too quickly, and you sharpen it like 4 or 5 times, and all of a sudden it starts working like it's supposed to. It has the properties it's supposed to have for that steel. What happened basically was most likely happened was that edge got fatigued when it got brought down to an apex. And what happened too was when you sharpened it, you got past that fatigued metal and got to where to metal with the proper properties, with the right heat treatment. So you wore out all that fatigue metal and got to the better stuff in inside. Like I said, kind of a tangent, but so I'm trying to avoid that, and I don't know if I can do it to this knife. I do have a diamond stone, and we'll find out, I guess, in the future. And it also comes down, mostly anything comes down to just time. It's like how much time are you willing to put into something. It's just patience, I suppose, but we'll see on that. Going to design wise, so the whole theme is going to be kind of paranoia and it breaking. Basically, that's the theme behind this whole design. So this is going to be a work knife. Just seeing how this turns out, I'm going to have to. Well, I'm going to take all that into account, and I want to make a more slicey Rex 121 knife in the future. I do have enough material to make one more slightly bigger than this one. and I'll take what I learned from this and do that. So I crowned this top, and I didn't go all the way to the tip. You can see there. And the reason for that is because same thing, I'm afraid of the tip snapping. So when you have a knife fail, it's usually here, right after your hand, or because that's where all the leverage goes. So when you do pry on something, it's basically here where you're putting force in that, and then the tip too. When you pry on something, same thing. It's usually the tip because it's the thinnest part, so that's usually what snaps. So with that in mind, if I took off the corners and rounded it out, I would have less material in the tip, and therefore less reinforcement. Secondary, also what I did was talking about that the edge. So I did a convex edge, and it's a pretty fat convex edge, but I don't know if you can tell. It's easier to touch than it is to tell, but just about here, the behind the edge on the convex grind is fatter all the way to the tip. So from about this point on is just fatter. So same thing, same theme. I just want as much material as I can at this tip because I'm just like scared it'll snap off. This is going to be used for work from my dad's going to use it, and he just tends to be hard on all his knives. The other thing is I drilled this hole here. I tend to, if you've seen any of my other videos, I tend to do outside holes for something that's for hardware. But for this choice, the handle, it's going to be micarta. It's going to go out to here. So I can't really go any further back, and where the hole is, it had to be around here. If I put it on the edges, it's basically going to have less material between the edges than it will if I just put it right in the center. This material here is just more reinforcement in my mind if I put two holes. And talking about that, this goes to this guy here. So, oops. Before this, I've stamped my maker's mark, and this time I engraved it. And if you look at it, yeah, it came out kind of weird, but I don't know. Also, if you've seen on my other videos, all my stampings come out super weird. So yeah, that's not much of a difference there. But also, same theme. I was afraid of, like, let's say I put this down and then stamp it, hit the stamp. And I was afraid this thing would just snap in half. I don't know how realistic that is, but I just didn't want to like risk it. But yeah. So yeah, this is it. If you have any questions, let me know. And yeah, or any suggestions if you know stuff about Rex 121 or Maximate or just working with crazy steels in general, let me know too. All right. Bye. Kind of weird. So yeah.